$50,000.
Call the Mike Slocum Law Firm on the Hurt Line right now.
Tonight, several developing stories as we come on the air. The judge's decision. The former USA Gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar sentenced to 175 years in prison. The judge telling him, quote, "I just signed your death warrant." And what he said when she asked, "Are you guilty?" Also, we have breaking news coming in now. What President Trump just said about talking to Robert Mueller under oath as the special counsel moves in closer to the president. The high-speed collision today.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
The suspect trying to escape police crashing head-on into an innocent driver. The deadly school shooting, 2 dead, several students shot, and tonight what we've now learned about the 15-year-old with the gun. The deadly flu epidemic, one of the newest victims, a 6-year-old girl. And the new study that came out late today, what the flu does to your risk of heart attack in the first week after you've been diagnosed. And America Strong, the rescue in the middle of the fire, the dog unresponsive, and you will see what they do next. And a major headline coming in tonight about Elton John.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Wednesday night, and we begin with that moment in court, the judge delivering her sentence. The former gymnastics team doctor Larry Nassar standing across from her, sentenced to up to 175 years in prison. The judge who delivered that sentence, as I mentioned, telling him, "I just signed your death warrant." The judge also asking him, "Are you guilty?" And you'll hear what he then says. And the judge reading from a letter the former doctor wrote to gasps in the courtroom. ABC's Lindsay Davis leading us off from Lansing, Michigan tonight.
In the moments just before he learned his sentence, Larry Nassar, somber and sullen, turned to speak directly to his victims.
Your words these past several days, your words have had a significant emotional effect on myself and has shaken me to my core. I also recognize that what I am feeling pales in comparison to the pain, trauma, and emotional destruction that all of you are feeling.
The judge then read portions of that same letter Nassar wrote to the court earlier, where he argued he didn't have the mental ability to bear hearing from so many victims. Victims, he says, were after media attention and money.
I was a good doctor because my treatments worked.
His accusers say it was sexual abuse under the guise of medical treatment. His letter sparking outrage in the courtroom as the judge read from it.
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Even after more than a week of heart-wrenching testimony from 156 women and girls, Nassar still wouldn't say the word guilty.
Because you are guilty, aren't you? Are you guilty, sir?
I said my plea, exactly.
Sir, you do not deserve to walk outside of a prison ever again.
Then to the man the prosecutor called possibly the most prolific serial child sexual abuser in history, the judge handed down what she had already promised. No chance that this father of 3 would ever have freedom again.
Sir, I'm giving you 175 years, which is 2,100 months. I've just signed your death warrant.
Applause as Nassar, the former USA Gymnastics team doctor, left the courtroom.
When you heard the judge announce 175 years, what was your reaction?
I was so happy because I know that he's never going to be going back out into the public, and he's not going to be able to harm another girl again.
The end of an emotionally charged sentencing.
Little girls don't stay little forever. They grow into strong women that return to destroy your world.
The last to testify today, Rachel Denhollander, the first woman to file a police report about Nassar's sexual abuse that prompted so many others to come forward.
You have fashioned for yourself a prison that is far, far worse than any I could ever put you in. And I pity you for that.
Extraordinarily powerful testimony, more than 150 young women testifying, and Lindsay joins us tonight from Lansing. And Lindsay, this case is really just the beginning. There are lawsuits and new investigations underway already.
David, this is all far from over. More than 100 women are currently involved in civil lawsuits against both Michigan State University as well as USA Gymnastics. And the NCAA has just announced an investigation into MSU to find out just who knew what When, David?
Lindsay Davis leading us off tonight. We're going to turn next to the breaking headline from the White House at this hour. President Trump just telling reporters, including our John Karl, that he's actually looking forward to answering questions from the special counsel Robert Mueller, and that he would do so under oath. Here's ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega tonight.
Tonight, President Trump saying definitively he wants to sit down with special counsel Robert Mueller, and the president telling ABC's Jonathan Karl he is willing to do it under oath. ABC News has learned the president's lawyers are now gearing up for a possible presidential interview with the special counsel, hoping Mueller will agree to a combination of written and in-person answers. Sources tell ABC Mueller's team has already interviewed the top intelligence officials in the Trump administration: CIA Director Mike Pompeo, Director of National Intelligence Dan Coats, and NSA Director Mike Rogers, and just last week, Attorney General Jeff Sessions. That lineup raising questions about whether Mueller's inquiry may now be zeroing in on whether the President of the United States obstructed justice. Sources say the special counsel wants to ask President Trump himself about the firings of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn and former FBI Director James Comey. Comey has pointed to the Russia probe for the reason he was fired, testifying the president once told him, "I need loyalty. I expect loyalty."
It got very awkward, and I then said, "You'll always have honesty from me." He said, "Honest loyalty," and then I acceded to that as a way to end this awkwardness.
And tonight, news of a similar conversation involving former FBI Acting Director Andrew McCabe. In an Oval Office meeting last year, the president asking McCabe how he voted in the 2016 election. McCabe responded he does not vote.
Does the president make a habit of asking career government officials their voting habits?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Did he ask Andrew McCabe how he voted?
Look, the president and Andrew McCabe have had limited and pretty non-substantive conversations. I can't get into the details of what was discussed. I wasn't there.
But that's a kind of a yes or no question. He did or didn't ask.
I wasn't in the room. I don't know what was discussed. I know he didn't ask me, so I can tell you that.
So today we asked the president,
Mr. President, did you ask Andrew McCabe who he voted for?
He did not respond.
So let's get to Cecilia live at the White House tonight. We saw that earlier today, the president silent, refusing to answer that question. But just a short time ago, he was not only pressed about talking to Robert Mueller, but he was also pressed again by reporters on what exactly he asked former acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe. So did he ask him how he voted?
Well, David, just a few minutes ago, the president surprised reporters meeting here in the White House. He says he doesn't remember asking McCabe how he voted in 2016. He said, though, it wouldn't be a big deal if he did indeed ask that question. As you mentioned, John Karl was in that meeting today. He reports that the president seems eager to sit down and talk with Robert Mueller. The president suggested that interview could happen within the next 2 to 3 weeks, as soon as possible, President Trump said. And David, he says he believes Mueller will treat him fairly.
Cecilia Vega, our thanks to both you and John tonight. In the meantime, some Republicans on the attack against the FBI and the special counsel investigation. They're now demanding answers about missing text messages between 2 FBI staffers, one of whom worked on the special counsel's team. He was then asked to leave after some of those texts revealed personal opinions about then candidate Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Here's ABC senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas tonight.
On Capitol Hill today, Republicans escalating their attacks on special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation.
American public should have some very serious concerns.
Republican Senator Ron Johnson pointing to personal text messages exchanged between Peter Strzok, a former member of Mueller's team, and Lisa Page, an FBI lawyer seen in this alumni picture. In text sent during the campaign, the couple exchanged their private thoughts, including critical comments about a number of political figures, including candidate Trump, Strzok calling him an idiot, Page saying he's awful. Mueller learned of those texts over the summer and immediately removed Strzok from the investigation. But Senator Johnson now raising questions about a potential larger FBI conspiracy against the president.
We have an informant that's talking about a group that were holding secret meetings off-site. There's so much smoke here. There's so much suspicion.
Let's stop there. A secret society, secret meetings off-site of the Justice Department.
Correct.
Today, Johnson refusing to produce evidence, but pointing to another text exchange between Strzok and Page.
All I'm saying is I've heard, it's right in the text. You can see the text. They use that. Maybe we ought to have the first meeting of the secret society. It's not my words, that's theirs.
But Republicans have not released that text message, and its meaning is unclear. But now the president is raising questions about why the FBI is missing records of texts between the couple during a critical 5-month period from the transition to the start of the Mueller probe.
I think he thinks that there's a great cause for concern that 5 months worth of text messages have gone missing.
The FBI says the text disappeared because of a technical glitch. And today, the Republican chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee suggests he accepts the explanation.
I'll let the FBI explain where the glitch is, but it's not limited, as I understand it, to two people's text messages. It's across the board at FBI.
Democrats believe Republicans are just trying to undermine the special counsel.
I think there has been a great deal of activity on the other side intending to either divert attention from Mueller or even stand in his way.
Pierre Thomas with us live tonight from our Washington bureau. And Pierre, this is a political battle, and ultimately the American people will decide whether those personal text messages were appropriate or not. But Republican Senator Richard Burr just there moments ago seemed to try to put this all into context of some sort.
That's right, David. Burr, the Republican chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, today refused to join in the fray, suggesting that the FBI's explanation of the technical glitch is reasonable. And lawmakers from both parties know that the special counsel is considering a wealth of information as his investigation continues, David.
Pierre, thank you. Next tonight, the details from inside that deadly school shooting in Benton, Kentucky. A student opening fire, 2 15-year-olds killed, more than a dozen others shot. Families gathering at memorials to remember them all. And tonight, what we've now learned about the alleged gunman, a 15-year-old. Here's ABC's Steve Osunsami from the scene.
This photo of his daughter Hannah means so much tonight to Jeff Dysinger. She's recovering from a gunshot wound to the chest.
It makes holding your daughter, your kids, just that much more meaningful.
What tears him up is that the photo was taken by 15-year-old Bailey Holt, just moments before he says Holt was killed trying to shield his daughter from the gunfire.
They're advising, as far as they know, it's one shooter. He is still on scene.
Police are seen here leading a student away in handcuffs. We're not identifying the young man, and police aren't confirming that he's the accused shooter. But students at Marshall County High who had to run for their lives say they know the boy. When he came in, did he say anything? Did you hear?
He was lifeless. He just pulled out the gun, didn't think twice, and just did it.
The other teenager who didn't make it is 15-year-old Preston Cope, seen here in the yearbook. Kennedy Sprague says he was loved by everyone.
He's the sweetest kid, and I just don't understand how this can happen to somebody like that.
Today, students hugged, cried, and prayed.
Tomorrow, prosecutors will ask a judge to try this teenager as an adult.
California.
David?
Steve Osunsami with us tonight. Steve, thank you. To California and new developments in the case of David and Louise Turpin, accused of holding their 13 children captive for years. The couple back in court today, a judge issuing a protective order restricting the pair from any contact with the children until at least 2021. They face a combined 75 counts of torture, abuse, and false imprisonment. The order comes as ABC News learns investigators spent most of the day yesterday speaking with the children. Back here at home, a violent end to a high-speed chase in Arizona. Police trailing a suspect for a traffic violation. The driver speeding to escape recklessly, then colliding with an innocent driver. Here's ABC's Kana Whitworth.
The chase began after a traffic stop for a moving violation.
He's run the red light there now, and he's continuing in toward ASU now.
TV choppers following overhead. Phoenix police keeping their distance. That red Jeep at high speed.
Oh my gosh, and he's really speeding up now.
Finally, slamming into an unsuspecting driver.
Oh boy, oh no, oh no, oh no. Head-on collision with that car.
But it's not over.
And he's running.
The driver, 31-year-old Mitchell Table, jumps out and approaches those bystanders.
You guys know who I am? Sit down.
When police arrive, confusion.
That's him right here. Hey, that's him right here.
Our suspect does have an extensive criminal history of both violent felony convictions and misdemeanor convictions in several states.
The victim, a 47-year-old woman, was injured but is expected to be okay, and the suspect could possibly face charges of aggravated assault or more. David?
Kana, thank you. Overseas tonight to a deadly attack on the charity Save the Children in Jalalabad, Afghanistan. A suicide car bomb detonated at the entrance. 3 other assailants storming the compound. Representatives from around the country there to pick up book bags for the children. Afghan officials say the attackers were all killed, ISIS taking responsibility. Save the Children CEO Carolyn Miles saying